Yo! So with you guys, man, it's your boy here, J Venom, the GOAT, the guy, the myth, the legend, the undefeated, no motherfucking else. We in this bitch. You know my body. Alright, man, new to the channel. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, all the cool shit. Now let's go ahead and get into it. The name of this video is the NBA playoffs are out of control, and I can actually agree with that because my Warriors lost game 1 to the motherfucking Celtics, and I'm pissed. My nigga Curry dropped 20 points in the first quarter, and the fucking Warriors still came out here and lost. I'm pissed. Alright? You feel what I'm saying? But that's not here nor there. He said the playoffs are out of control. I feel like the whole playoffs as a whole, you know what I'm saying? I think what happened, I knew it was going to happen. But my Warriors losing game 1 got me fucked up. Let's go ahead and see what you're talking about.
2,802. This is the total number of players to ever play in an NBA playoff game. From the best to ever do it, to some players you've probably never even heard of. Among those 2,802 players, 164 of them never scored a single playoff point.
Damn.
A few of these players include a man named Fatty, Basketball Hall of Fame coach George Karl, and his son Kobe Karl, and a guy named Jeff Halliburton, whose most notable accomplishment was being Julius Erving's cousin. In fact, here is every single player to ever suit up for a playoff game in the history of the NBA, sorted by points per game. 2,802 players throughout the NBA's 75
Bro,
years
that's
history.
crazy. Oh, my bad. Bro, that's crazy that 100, what was it, 60 people or whatever? It's crazy that those amount of people didn't even score a point in the playoffs. And then you think about it, it's wild because the playoffs, you're going to be in there for at least 4 games. And you don't even score. Now, I know they have rotations and some guys are on the team just to fill a roster spot. But damn, bro, 4 games, coach don't put you in for a minute? I mean, that's crazy.
But you won't get into any real all-time great scoring territory until you get into the top 150 on this list. Scottie Pippen lands just outside of that threshold at 17.5 points per game at the 152nd spot. Keep climbing and you'll find Kevin Garnett, Klay Thompson, Jimmy Butler, Dwayne Wade, Jason Tatum, and all the way at the top, you'll find the greatest playoff scorers in NBA history. LeBron James, Jerry West, Kevin Durant, Allen Iverson, and of course, Michael Jordan. With a playoff scoring average so outrageous that even in the grand scheme of the entire history of the NBA, the gap between him and everyone else is massive. This graphic took an excruciatingly long time to make. My head is pounding, and I hope it was all worth it, because there's actually only 2,801 players on this graph. There's one player missing. There he is. The one and only player to challenge Michael Jordan's godlike scoring at the highest stage, Luka Doncic. The kid is making history every time he steps on the court, and he's just getting started. One of many unbelievable...
Okay, to be honest, Luka Doncic being the second highest points per game player ever is not really impressive considering how many playoff games he's played. Like, let's look it up. He's been, I don't even gotta look it up. He's only been in what, 2 or 3 playoff series versus someone like LeBron, KD that have probably been in like, I don't know, maybe like 10, 9, 8 playoffs. You feel what I'm saying? So look, it's like this, it's like this. If you play 50 basketball games, you might average 20 points. If someone has only played 10 basketball games and they average 30 points, it doesn't make them a better player. They've played 40 less games than you. So Luka Doncic being the second best, the second highest scorer, points per game average is not very impressive. I'm not really impressed. Now, if we fast forward 5, 6 years in the future and he's still like top 3, top 5, okay, now you're blowing my mind. But him, this is like his second or third year in the playoffs. I'm not very impressed. This does nothing for me. This doesn't get my gooch wet at all. My gooch is not aroused at all.
Facts about this year's NBA playoffs. Today's video is sponsored by Noom. Have you ever had bad food closer to another blowout that drains all the excitement from the whole experience? Jimmy. This year's NBA playoffs have been a non-stop thrill ride for NBA fans, with the occasional blowout that drains all the excitement from the whole experience. But it's all worth it, because we also got games where records were broken and history was made. And then we're left with another blowout that drains all the excitement from the whole experience. But aside from every other game being decided...
And while we're on the topic of Luka Doncic, honestly, bro, I think Luka has to leave the Mavericks. I think the Mavericks' best shot of making any noise is when it was Luka and Kristaps. Turns out Kristaps is actually trash. I thought Kristaps was good. He's like 7 foot tall. He can shoot threes. I thought he was a good player. Turns out he's ass. So I think Luka has to leave the Mavs. I think what will end up happening is I don't know if Luka's already getting paid or not, but Luka will get paid. They'll have to pay everyone else. They won't have no money to pair him up with anybody good. And unless they get lucky in the draft, they're not going to get no high draft picks because they keep winning because they have Luka with a little bit of talent. So if Luka ever wants to win a ring, you're going to have to pull a Anthony Davis. You're going to have to pull a LeBron James. You're going to have to pull a fucking Kevin Durant. He got to get up out of there. He's not winning on the Mavericks because the Mavericks can't get him no more pieces. Unless the Mavericks can pull off some type of miracle trade, they will never get him a second star in the NBA. Right now, with the way the NBA is set up right now, you can win with a big two. You could do it with a big two. Now, back in the day, 3-4 years ago, you needed a big three or you weren't going nowhere. But nowadays, a big two can get you somewhere. If you got a big two, you can make that shit shake. The Mavericks, I don't think they can get a second star because, like I said, they can't get no one in free agency because they're not going to have no money. Luka and supporting cast are going to be broke. They might can make a trade. They damn sure not getting no stud out the draft unless they get lucky. So if Luka really wants to get rings and he really trying to go down as one of the best players ever, he got to get the fuck out of Dallas, bro. He's not Dirk. He's not going one-man band this shit. He got to get the hell up out of there.
In the first 15 minutes of action, the 2022 NBA playoffs have been nothing short of incredible. So here are 10 unbelievable facts about the NBA playoffs that you have to see to believe. In Game 6 against the Pelicans, Chris Paul had one of the wildest stat lines I have ever seen. 13 for 13 from 2, 1 for...
Chris Paul is trash. Chris Paul will never win a ring as a starter on no team. I don't want to hear nothing about Chris Paul unless it's slander. CPK. We don't care about Chris Paul over here, bro. Chris Paul is trash. Chris Paul is a bot. Chris Paul will never win as a starter. He will never get a ring as a starter. I don't want to hear it. Bye.
Push this feat. Don Nelson, who made every shot in a 1974 playoff game, and Serge Ibaka, who didn't miss a single shot in a playoff game back in 2012. But here's the catch. These games aren't even the most efficient shooting performances in playoff history. That game belongs to Duncan Robinson, who had the most efficient shooting night in NBA playoff history just 11 days prior to CP3's
He shot over 100%. How you do that?
The Hawks, Duncan had a true shooting percentage
of
true shooting percentage. 129%.
What does that mean?
You heard that correctly.
What is true shooting percentage? What is that?
Because Duncan Robinson shot so many threes and hit so many threes, the value of each shot he took that night was far greater than Chris Paul's, despite the fact that Chris didn't even miss a
I guess they give you more. They give you more because it was a three, I think.
And while we're on the subject of incredibly weird but true occurrences, we need to talk about DeMarcus Cousins. Because in the first round against Golden State, Cousins scored a playoff career high.
Bro, I think Duncan Robinson gonna be nice in the league one day. I think he just need to be in a certain type of system. I think Duncan Robinson could be like a Klay Thompson. But the problem with that is Klay Thompson has Curry. Klay can't be Klay without Curry. And I don't think Duncan will ever get to be Klay because he'll never have his Curry. So that's my take on Duncan Robinson.
But true. And while we're on the subject of incredibly weird but true occurrences, we need to talk about DeMarcus Cousins. Because in the first round against Golden State, Cousins scored a playoff career high in points. Now, when I first heard this, I thought maybe his playoff career high was 30, maybe 35 points, but it's not. It's 19. Now, the reason why this number is so absurd is because out of the 674 total games Cousins has played in his NBA career, he has scored at least 19 points in 350 of them. That's more than half. And yet, somehow, he's only managed to clear 19 points once in the playoffs. His playoff career high before this game against the Warriors was just 15. Some not so notable players who have a higher career playoff high than DeMarcus Cousins include Jared Dudley, JaVale McGee, Matthew Dellavedova, and Patrick Beverley. Now,
I think, honestly, I got nothing to say for that. I want to say maybe he's choking, but he has a ring. But he was on the stacked ass Warriors. I got nothing to say for
you
that.
feel like
I didn't know that.
this
That's
year's
crazy.
playoffs have
That's
felt
crazy.
a little different than what we're used to. It might be because of the absence of two players, LeBron James and Kevin
Fuck LeBron. LeBron K.
Durant, because this is the first postseason in 17 years that hasn't featured LeBron or Durant past the first round. The last time we saw the playoffs without these two all-time greats, the year was 2005. Allen Iverson led the league in scoring, Chris Paul was playing for Wake Forest, and LaMelo Ball was still in diapers. Boy, how the times have changed. And times will continue to change because one of the longest standing records in the history of basketball just went down, and pretty much no one noticed. On May 7th, in Game 3 of the Warriors-Grizzlies series, Jonathan Kuminga became the youngest player to ever start in a playoff game in NBA history. Well, at least we initially thought he was. The official length of the previous record was held for at least 51 years.
I don't know why he's telling us this. Who gives a fuck? No one gives a shit. That doesn't mean nothing. I could have did that. That doesn't mean anything. Who gives a fuck?
Championship. Yes, there was once a professional basketball team by the name of Reading Pretzels. The Pretzels starting forward in that playoff game was a player by the name of Hein Blessing, who was just 18 years and 300.
Why is he telling us this? No one gives a fuck. This doesn't mean, what does that even mean?
The least amount of combined points from a starting five in the playoffs in NBA history. But thanks to Tringle Pringle, we can look into starting lineups prior to the existence of the NBA. On March 12, 1944, under the order of Adolf Hitler, German Nazi troops invaded Hungary. This event...
Bro, what's up with this video? What is this nigga talking about, bro?
landmark in world
Is
history.
this fucking
What
history
relevance does
class?
this information
What is
have on a
this?
YouTube channel about basketball? Well, Game 2 of the 1944 NBL Finals was also on March 12, 1944. And in this finals matchup, the Fort Wayne Zollners defeated the Sheboygan Redskins 36-26. And on that night, the Redskins starting five combined for just 18 points. Which means that the last time a starting five combined for just 18 points, Adolf Hitler was in rule of Germany. The Miami Heat somehow managed to play worse than any starting lineup since World War II. And
Damn.
that, my friends,
That's
might
bad.
just be the most disgusting statistic
bad.
I have ever uttered in my life.
That's bad.
But the Miami Heat aren't
That's
the
bad.
only team to go down in horrendous
That's
fashion
bad.
in this year's
That's
playoffs. In my last
He
video,
lost
I
me for a
spent 10
second, but he
minutes
brought me back.
breaking
That was
down the
bad.
monstrosity of a Game 7 the Suns put together against the Mavs. But what I didn't mention in that video was that the Suns actually managed to fall into the second largest.
I don't want to hear nothing about the Suns because I just told y'all. Chris Paul. Okay, let me go ahead and get out the way for y'all. Let me go ahead and burst all your bubbles, crush all your dreams. Chris Paul is never winning a ring as a starter. Russell Westbrook is never winning a ring as a starter. James Harden is never winning a ring as a starter. These three players will never win rings as a starter. I don't want to hear shit about them or their team. We can talk about the Suns if Chris Paul leaves. We can talk about the Lakers if Westbrook leaves. We can talk about the Sixers if Harden leaves. These three players will never be starters on a championship winning team. I do not give a fuck at all.
Just first half deficit in the history of the playoffs. Trailing by 30 points at halftime, the one and only time a team had a larger deficit at the half was all the way back in 1956.
Spain.
But surprisingly, they actually didn't have the least amount of points scored in the first half of a playoff game. That record belongs to, well, the Phoenix Suns. Back in the
Spain.
2000 playoffs when they scored just 23
Suns
points
always
in the
been
first
ass.
half against the Lakers. Despite
And see, here's the thing that I don't like about the NBA is taking a direction in. Bro, if your franchise is ass, y'all niggas is ass. Y'all will never be good. If your franchise has kind of been good or is good, then that's fine. But I hate these little ass franchises trying to be good. The Suns, y'all have always been ass. Stay ass. No one gives a fuck. The Mavericks, they got that one little cool ring with Dirk. That was nice. It was cute. But y'all are ass. You feel what I'm saying? The Pelicans have always been ass, but I actually like Zion. But Zion has pretty much given up on basketball. So Pelicans, y'all ass, stay ass. The Hornets, they got LaMelo. That's cool and all. Hey LaMelo, when your contract up or you got the slightest chance to leave, get the fuck out of town. The Hornets have always been ass. The Hornets will stay ass. If your team is ass, stay ass. Don't no one give a fuck. All right? If you're ass, just stay ass. Please and thank you. That's my PSA.
Coming up short on their run to defend their NBA title, the Bucks put up a great fight in the second round of the playoffs, all behind two monster series by Giannis Antetokounmpo. The man was doing everything in his power to carry his team throughout the playoffs, including grabbing every rebound even remotely close to his vicinity.
I feel bad for Giannis, bro. If Giannis would have had Chris Middleton, he would have two-peated. Well, I don't know because the Warriors are in the finals. That would have been a doozy, but yeah. He would have definitely been back in the finals if Chris Middleton wasn't injured, for sure.
Giannis' season was over 2 weeks ago, and yet he still leads the playoffs in rebounds by a massive, massive margin.
I'm not going to lie, the fact that nigga is leading the league in rebounds and it's the finals and he's been out for what, a round or two, that is actually pretty nuts. I'm not going to lie, that's a very nutty stat. That's nuts. That's crazy.
In fact, despite not even making it out of the second round, Giannis will more than likely remain the leader in rebounds by the time the playoffs are over.
That's crazy.
This is absurd.
That's crazy.
And yet it's what we've
That's
come
crazy.
to expect
That's crazy.
from the Greek freak. But
Yeah.
statistically speaking,
Love it or hate it, Giannis is the best player in the league. I don't care what no one says. I would give it to KD, but Giannis is the best player in the league. I don't care what no one's saying.
the most valuable player so far in the 2022 NBA playoffs.
All Giannis
isn't
got to
Giannis.
do is start
It
shooting
isn't
threes, it's
Steph
over.
Or Jason Tatum. It's Jimmy Butler. There's been 4 playoff games this postseason that cracked the top 100 individual playoff game performances in modern NBA history. 3 of them came from Jimmy Butler. At the moment, Jimmy Butler leads the playoffs in value over replacement, offensive box plus minus, total box plus minus, player efficiency rating, win shares by a mile, and win shares per 48 by a mile. The man is leading the playoffs in every single major advanced statistic. There's no real name for this accomplishment.
I've been seeing people trying to say that Jimmy Butler is one of the best players in the league. Best player. I've seen people saying best player to playoff. I've seen them saying that Jimmy Butler's underrated. And honestly, bro, at the end of the day, it don't matter how good of a player you are. It really matters what team you on, bro. Like, I just can't get hyped for Jimmy Butler on the Heat. This isn't 2012. He's not with LeBron and Chris Bosh. I can't get excited for him, bro. If he was on the Mavericks playing with Luka, if he was on the fucking Bucks playing with Giannis, if he was on the Sixers, well, he can't, but if he was on the Nets, if he was somewhere else where, you know, they got a chance at winning, I might get hyped for him. But, bro, I can't get hyped for you on the Heat. It's just not happening, Captain. Like, Jimmy Butler, yeah, he cool. Yeah, he making it shake. Yeah, he out here leading the league and all of this and all of this. And it's cool. It's nice. It sound good. But, bro, at the end of the day, bro, if your team ass, you just not making it. Like, bro, this is basketball. This is a team sport. This ain't boxing. This ain't golf. This ain't fucking bowling. I mean, bro, this is a team sport. You could be a 99 overall every badge. But if you playing with 50s, brown shirts, no badges, I mean, what's up? You feel what I'm saying? So I cannot get hyped for Jimmy, bro. I can't call him one of the best players in the league because he ain't making shit shake.
But
that's all I'm gonna say about it. He's not making it shake.
Impossibly good. In fact, here's a list of every single player in NBA history to accomplish this feat in the playoffs.
Probably just his ass. Oh.
That's it. Jimmy Butler is playing at a level that only LeBron James, Michael Jordan, and Kareem Abdul.
You know what? I will applaud him because these are all top 3, top 4, top 5 players in NBA history. So I actually applaud him for playing at this level. But still, he on an ass team. I don't know.
Jabbar have ever played at in the NBA playoffs.
That's pretty
So
cool,
it's
honestly.
settled. The NBA Mount Rushmore is
All right,
LeBron,
calm
MJ,
down. Okay, calm
Kareem,
down.
and Jimmy
Calm
Butler.
down,
And I
calm
refuse
down.
to accept otherwise.
Calm down,
because these
calm
are
down.
10 facts about
Calm
the
down.
2022 NBA playoffs.
Okay,
that
all right. You lost me, and I'm lost, and we're lost. Okay, he fucked it. He started doing the most. He did the most. I don't know what he's talking about. That's crazy. All right, y'all boys. That's gonna do it for this video. I'm gonna get up out of here.